Hello, very good evening, and we begin with breaking news. Police have released one of two men arrested over last night's mass stabbing on a London-bound train. An LNER rail worker who stepped in to save others is being described as a hero. He remains critically injured in hospital. A man described by detectives as a 32-year-old British national is tonight being questioned on suspicion of attempted murder. Police say he is from Peterborough and it's known that he boarded the train at Peterborough station. Well, armed police boarded the train last night after it made an emergency stop in Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire. At least 11 people on board were injured in the attack, one of them that worker from the LNER train firm. It's said tonight to be in a life-threatening condition. Well, joining me now is our correspondent, Gurpreet Narwan. She's in Huntingdon for us. So two pieces of breaking news in the last few minutes, Gurpreet. Firstly, police now only have one suspect. The other man who was arrested has been released. And secondly, we're hearing that there was a hero on board that train, a member of staff who we're told saved many lives.
Yeah, this is a significant update from the British Transport Police. We spent most of the day under the impression that there were two suspects, that two people may have been behind this attack, a 35-year-old male and a 32-year-old male. Well, the police have just told us that a 35-year-old male from London who was arrested at the scene has been released without any charges, is no longer a suspect in this case, and it's that 32-year-old man who they are now treating as the only suspect. He's yet to be charged. Police have up to 4 days to charge the suspect, but a significant development there that we are talking about one attacker, not two. The police said that they recovered a knife from the scene as well, and the other startling detail to come out of this is that one of the casualties involved in this, who is in life-threatening condition in hospital, sustained life-threatening injuries, was a railway worker, a member of LNER crew who was on the train at the time and tried to stop the attacker. He's being described as a hero. CCTV footage, the police say, suggests that their actions were no short of heroic, and that individual saved lives on that train yesterday. The police will now conducting their investigation. They're combing through all the evidence they can find. They'll be going through communications history of that suspect. And the Deputy Chief Constable, Stuart Cundy, said in a statement to the press that the investigation is moving at pace and we are confident we are not looking for anyone else in connection to the incident. This was a horrific attack that has had a wide impact. My thoughts and those of everyone in British Transport Police are with those injured and their families, especially the brave member of rail staff whose family are being supported by specialist officers. Having viewed the CCTV from the train, the actions of the member of rail staff were nothing short of heroic and undoubtedly saved people's lives. And the managing director of LNER, David Horn, also extended his sympathies with that LNER worker and his family, saying, "We are deeply shocked and saddened by yesterday's incidents. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected. I would like to thank the emergency services for their quick and professional response. This is a deeply upsetting incident." So just to recap there, one suspect that the police are now considering in this attack, no longer two, as we thought was the case earlier today, and one member of LNER staff, a railway worker, who is in life-threatening condition in hospital, has sustained life-threatening injuries, helped save lives on that train yesterday. We don't know how many people's lives he saved. We don't know exactly what that individual did, but their actions are being described as heroic.
OK, Gurpreet, for the moment, thank you for that update. Meanwhile, our crime correspondent, Martin Brunt, has this analysis from Huntingdon.
They're being very careful, as they always are, with the language. not a terror incident at the moment, but who knows, that might change. And a lot, of course, will depend on what they're discovering about those two suspects that they've got in custody. There is a massive operation going on behind the scenes, as well as the forensic work here. A great deal of work turning those two suspects' lives upside down, if you like, looking at their devices, their mobile telephones, their computers, talking to members of their family, people that they've been associating with, trying to find out where they've been in the last few days, and then going back weeks, perhaps even months, trying to work out what kind of conversations they've been having, and looking for clues to any sign of radicalization, any pre-planning of what happened yesterday night. At the moment, it seems that they haven't found that evidence from what they've said, but as you heard, they are still appealing for information, not just from those people who were on the train and witnessed what happened, but from anybody who might be able to give them some idea of what lay behind this attack. I mean, if it wasn't terror, what was it? Maybe a perceived flight, a perceived wrong, maybe an argument that got out of hand. I mean, the police might be beginning to come to some conclusion about what triggered it. We don't think we're going to get any update from the police tonight. It's early days. They've got 4 days in which to hold these suspects. I think this whole question of is it terror, isn't it terror, there was a bit of confusion this morning, I think, when it was reported, and it was true that the police did trigger what they call Operation Plato, which is often used as a kind of protocol in the early moments when they suspect a marauding terror attack. But what essentially it does, it's not specifically about terror. It warns other emergency services to hold back from a crime scene where police believe there is a dangerous armed suspect who is on the loose. And the others are told to stay back until armed officers have been able to deal with that suspect, which is exactly what happened here. And here's a great example of where sometimes this is so important. In the Manchester Arena bombing in 2017, the fire brigade were heavily criticised for not going near the scene of the bombing for 2 hours. And the reason they didn't go in was that they weren't told that Operation Plato protocol, having been launched, had not then been rescinded. And last night, the Operation Plato was launched in fear, the worst case scenario of a marauding terror attack, but it was scaled down, and Operation Plato was rescinded, and everybody was told. And at that point, all the other emergency services, the paramedics, the fire brigade, were able to go to the scene on board the train here and deal with those casualties once the police have removed the suspects.
That analysis from Martin Brunt before the update in the last few moments that a 32-year-old man from Peterborough remains in police custody on suspicion of attempted murder after that knife attack, but a 35-year-old man has been released with no further action.